One of my bylines is that if you give a sales presentation without doing a needs analysis first, you're not a pro. You're giving a pitch. By the way, I hate the word pitch.
Horrible.
The
Disgusting.
word is presentation.
This idea of a needs analysis is not necessarily a new thing at this point in time that we are talking, but help people understand what you really mean by a needs analysis.
To me, needs analysis is a deep dive trying to get inside the head of your prospective buyer. And remember, the better and more in-depth the question you ask, the better, more in-depth the answer you're going to get.
What kind of questions would be good questions that would get more detailed answers?
In selling value, you've got to learn what their definition of value is. And if you're not in sync in that regard, you're barking up the wrong tree. It almost
never is the same. And I find it crazy when people say, I delivered so much value, they didn't get it. I'm like, well, therefore you didn't deliver. What do you say to people that believe that they don't have time to have these kind of needs analysis conversations?
I'd say they're not serious about success in their profession. It's what psychologists call crooked thinking. They're simply wrong.
Yep.
You've got to pay the price, and the price is basically effort over time.
Many of you know that I've been around the world of sales training for more than a minute. I think I've now been training sales professionals for 25 years, and that's quite a long time. At least I thought so until I got to hang with Don Hutson here today, who's been doing it for a little while longer than me. So Don, how did you get into helping people to understand how to sell better, and where did it start, and give people a potted history of
well,
what gets
I got into the business right out of college. I was a salesman for a sales training firm, and we had to go into these different cities to promote our sales congresses where we were bringing speakers in. And we had to set up meetings with all the sales organizations we could in these cities. Then we'd go in and put on a sample 30-minute sales meeting for them and try to encourage them to buy a ticket to our seminar. So I simultaneously got speaking experience and sales experience. So after doing that for 4 years, I'd given 1,500 talks, and I had experienced a tremendous amount of sales challenge because I'm calling on total strangers in a new city, and I'm trying to get him to turn his sales meeting over to me, a stranger, for 30 minutes. And it was a pretty difficult sell in a lot of ways, but I had to convince them through my confidence and through sharing some good ideas that it'll be a worthwhile endeavor for him. So tremendous experience for me to learn how to sell in that challenging environment. And I became hooked on selling, and I read all the books, and I learned all I could to try to be the best I could. And I learned from a lot of people, but it's been a tremendous ride. And I was so lucky to get an early start because it got me into speaking early and training in my professional environment.
Here we are in 2025 in this discussion right now. And I would say the last decade, a lot of business growth, a lot of advice from the platform, a lot of what content people have been consuming has been marketing-based content. And it's been based on how do they sell without necessarily having to engage in conversation with the prospects, with the people they're looking to be able to help make decisions. The result has been that people have been looking at click to buy, people are looking to be able to try and find ways of not necessarily being involved in the sales process. Where we get to today, when markets are saturated, when the point of differentiation is often a conversation, I'm starting to see sales skills being a more important need in today's modern marketplace more than they have been.
I concur completely.
And the trouble we have, though, Don, is that most people don't know how to do it, and most leaders have never considered it being an important skill set.
Yeah, and there's so many companies that are sophisticated in a lot of ways, but they still don't invest in professional sales training.
What are the big mistakes that you're seeing people make today that is costing them money?
One of my bylines is that if you give a sales presentation without doing a needs analysis first, you're not a pro. You're giving a pitch. By the way, I hate the word pitch.
Horrible.
The word is presentation.
Yeah, and the word
pitch implies you got one. You're going to give it the same one to everybody. So I like the word presentation better.
Same here. And you know why I like it? Because the word presentation has the word present in it. In my country, we call a gift a present. And if I'm giving you a present, well, that's something you might like.
There you go.
Rather than if I throw a pitch at you, it might hurt.
Exactly. So needs analysis has become a key component. And I like to get the word out early on with my prospect that I'm eager to perform a needs analysis because I want to find out what you think, what you need, what you want, what's your perspective of things, because as I learn those things, I'm in a better position to ultimately give a presentation you helped me design. And a much higher probability of getting an affirmative response if I deliver a presentation you helped me design.
This idea of a needs analysis is not necessarily a new thing at this point in time that we are talking, But help people understand what you really mean by a needs analysis.
To me, needs analysis is a deep dive trying to get inside the head of your prospective buyer. And remember that it's important to give a really good performance in your needs analysis effort. The better and more in-depth the question you ask, the better, more in-depth the answer you're going to get. So it means you're going to learn more and learn faster, and you're going to take good notes, and you're going to gather a great deal of information, and that's going to help you do a more professional job of actually crafting a solution that's a better fit for them.
What kind of questions would be good questions that would get more detailed answers?
Questions that help you understand better what kind of problem they're trying to solve, what kind of need they feel that they have, questions about what they truly value. Mm-hmm. In my book, Selling Value, I basically wanted to get one idea across in that book. That's got a lot of ideas in it, but the most important one is this. In selling value, you've got to learn what their definition of value is, because it might not be the same as yours. And if you're not in sync in that regard, you're barking up the wrong tree. It almost
never is the same. And I find it crazy when people say, I delivered so much value, they didn't get it. I'm like, well, therefore you didn't deliver value. Yeah. Right? It isn't value that was delivered if it wasn't received as value.
Exactly.
There are a lot of sales moments that exist today that fall into the category of either like a discovery call or a demonstration more so than a presentation. How would you advise people to go about stepping into a discovery call so that what they could do is truly run a needs analysis?
Yeah. Discovery is about the same as needs analysis, but a little broader.
Yep.
And essentially, you're trying to learn what's going on with those prospects, and you want to know what their pain point is, what they're trying to achieve, what kind of problem they're trying to solve. And discovery is going to help you understand in a broad way their general situation. Specific needs analysis coming from one person's giving you input is going to help you zero in on exactly what their thinking process is. And in that, you want to ask questions that'll help you understand what they value most. Like, what are you most trying to achieve with a possible purchase of a product of this nature? Mm-hmm. And find out what they want to, what kind of benefit they're looking for more than anything else.
And what I'm hearing and being perpetually reminded of here is just the importance of going slow in these scenarios.
Yeah, don't rush it. I mean, the ultimate rush would be eliminate the needs analysis process.
Yeah.
Ultimately, when we do that, a lot of people think, I don't have time to do all that. They think they're going to waste time with needs analysis. The fact is, if you do a good job with needs analysis, you're going to shorten your sales cycle because you're going to diffuse stress. I'm convinced that stress and trust are inversely proportional in a sales relationship.
Yep.
So if you do a good job of building trust and you feel like they know you, they like you, and they trust you, and you've earned that, what's going to happen is they're not going to feel stressed out.
Yep.
So why do you not see any more door-to-door salesmen? They're almost non-existent today. It's because in that scenario, you don't have an ability to build trust. It's a wham, bam, strap it on them, hope you get a yes.
Right.
And that just doesn't work like it used to work.
Something I often encourage people to think about in a needs analysis conversation is to build a timeline storyboard into the conversation. So the advice that I would typically give is to start a conversation with what we would call an OFQ, which is opening fact question. And that allows us to give a polite opening, then a mutually agreeable fact, and then an easy to answer question. So say, for example, I was stepping into a conversation with somebody who was thinking about bringing me in for some consultation about improving conversion rates. My opening fact question might run something like, hey, it's so great to be here, to be able to spend some time with you today. That might be an opening. A mutually agreeable fact would be, is what I understand at this moment in time is that you built a successful product, you've got some traction, you've got customers who love what it is that you provide for them, but at the point of conversion, you're not getting the result that you believe is completely possible, right? That would be me just saying I understand the reason why we're here.
Get them to say, yeah, that's my dilemma.
Right. And then I would put a question out there that then said, and this is something that if could be changed would have high value inside of your business. And they would say yes to that. That builds my frame, and then my questioning arc in a needs analysis would be past, present, and future. So I would go back in time. That would be, well, walk me through, how did you get started? Like, how did we get to this point in time? I'd then ask a present question that is a version of what is the current situation. So Where are we currently at? And then I'd ask a future-based question, which may be a version of what are you hoping to achieve past here? Where are you looking for this to be able to grow into? What is Don Hutson's take on that kind of approach?
I think that's perfect. I like it a lot. And the fact that you establish current reality, you agree on where they are right now. Mm-hmm. And then if you can get a clear picture of where they're trying to go, like what kind of a dollar increase are you looking for and in what period of time, and what is your conversion rate now, and what would it need to be for you to achieve that goal? What do we need to do to improve that conversion rate?
Yep.
And get into the components of the presentation process and critique and offer ideas for improving that.
Mm-hmm. I too have had the same puzzle though, where people say that doesn't this take too long, and won't people feel like this is an interrogation when what they want to get to is like, what's the price? What can you do for me? Just explain how you can help. What do you say to people that believe that they don't have time to have these kind of needs analysis conversations?
I'd say they're not serious about success in their profession. Mm-hmm. They've just got, it's what psychologists call crooked thinking. They're simply wrong.
Yep.
You've got to pay the price. And the price is basically effort over time.
Yep. And I believe that if you are brave enough to be able to step into those conversations, they're never an interrogation as long as you're being helpful.
Right.
As long as you're being strategically curious in that conversation because you don't know enough to be able to make a recommendation.
Oh, perfect. Yep.
And the same would be true if you stepped into a medical environment, right? If Doc was ready to be able to tell you all the great things that he or she could do for you before they truly understood, there'd be a lot of friction, a lot of tension.
Yep.
Would you be concerned if the doctor needed another 15 minutes to ask some more questions and run some more tests?
Not at all. I'd be concerned if he didn't. Wasn't it Jim Cathcart that had the great line, sales, like in medicine, we must understand that prescription before diagnosis is malpractice.
Exactly. I've quoted Jim more than twice on that. And I think it's so true in our world today is that if you can slow the process down, you can speed the outcome up. I've been preaching that for years, and then I got to do some work with our US Marines. And what our US Marines taught me was that when they go into difficult scenarios, they have a mantra that slow is smooth and smooth is fast. So I figure if it's a good enough mindset to step into a hostile environment where there's life and death on the line, it's probably adequate for stepping into sales environments too.
I think so. That's good.
And I think in today's world, when everything wants to move fast and people are looking for the quickest response, if you can show up into a conversation with a goal to help somebody and not know exactly what help looks like until you got to the end of the conversation, it's one of the easiest ways to differentiate.
I agree.
Hey, Don, thanks for jamming with me on sales today.
Hey, man, what a great conversation. I like to know the sales guy.
You got it.
Great.